Okay, we're recording. All right, so Derek, take it away.
Hello. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just picking up, my name is Derek Abrams, and I'm the Associate Director of the Center for Innovation and Commercialization. And today I'm going to be joined with two of my colleagues, Stephanie Mendez, whom you just heard speaking. She's the manager of the CIC, and also Esther Ballesteros, who is our administrative coordinator. And we're all excited to bring to you the Rafael Munguia business plan competition. Just like Stephanie said, we've had these in previous years, but this is going to be a slightly different one. Obviously, more prize money, and we're looking forward to seeing some excellent submissions from those of you who have joined us. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, sorry. Here's the timeline for our innovation, for this process of going through this business plan competition. So today is our first information session. We're going to have one more. We're going to record today's information session and publish this, send this out for you to be able to review, for those of you who want to get an early start on this. So again, the second one is information session is going to be Wednesday, May 5th. We're going to have a deadline of May 25th. Our first deadline by 5 p.m. And that's when you're going to have submitted a live plan. Basically, you have to go through the some questions and do a little work. And I'm going to hold off on telling you exactly what all that entails here. Since we're going to cover it a little bit later in our presentation here today. Okay, so application deadline, May 25th. June 8th is when we'll notify who are the finalists out of those, the final, 9 folks or so out of the submissions, okay, that we received. Then they'll have an information session on June 10th to decide if they're going to continue forward as finalists in the competition. They'll have to do a little bit more work. And we'll have an intent to submit deadline that they'll have to, for those finalists who are gonna want to compete, and that's when they'll have to let us know. So they get a kind of a weekend to kind of think about it, or a couple of days to think about it, excuse me. On June 14th, we'll have a mentor meet and greet. We will assign those finalists some mentors who can help them flesh out or a little bit perhaps better prepare their final presentations that they'll have for the business plan virtual finale. Okay, they'll have to submit their full business plans by those finalists by July 2nd. And then Thursday on the July 15th, we'll have the business plan virtual finale, and that'll be online. And you'll hopefully, and we'll have a lot of people come for that event, and they'll be able to present their business plans to a panel of, distinguished business people who are going to be our judges. Okay, thanks. Prize money, I guess this is one of the more important areas for the folks who've joined us today. Grand prizes overall, $10,000 for first place, $7,000 for second place, $3,000 for third place. There's going to be a audience favorite category, and in three different subcategories. Okay, so there's a student category or competition category, a faculty staff competition category, and a Rio Grande Valley community member or alumni category. All right, and so you'll have to compete in one of these three categories. So that's, if you can add up that money, I believe it sums up to about $23,000 in prize money. So obviously this is going to be one of the largest prize money competition that we've had, and so I think there's a strong opportunity for everyone to have a good shot to try to win. So if you put in your best effort, hopefully that'll be enough. Okay. So the three areas that you'll have to, when I talked about on the previous slide that you'll have to compete in one of these three areas, here we show the criteria for each of the three areas. So the first area is the student team area or competition area. Okay. So the first point here kind of sums up who's in this category here. So you have to be a currently enrolled UTRGV undergraduate, graduate, or resident student. Okay. So all the team members. Okay. All teams are up to 4 people. So from 1 to 4 people, but all the team members have to be in that student status, current student status. Okay. There's going to be 1 person allowed for to do the elevator pitch. We'll talk a little bit about the elevator pitch guidelines a little later, but essentially only 1 person is going to be have to do a 60-second video or record it. Okay. Up to 2 students will give the presentations, or 2 group members. You cannot have any faculty in the category. Okay. The second category is the faculty staff category. And if we have one of the 4 members that's a faculty or staff, then you're automatically in this category. Okay. So that's the easy way to kind of think about it. All right. And then the same kind of things that I just kind of laid out, points 2, 3, 4 are follow from the student, but it's with the faculty or staff member. Okay. The third category is if you fall under the Rio Grande Valley community member or alumni category, UTRGV alumni category. At least one of the members has to be an RGV community member or alumni. Again, you've got a 4-person limit. And then the same criteria, 2, 3, 4, fall under the same as the in the other 2 categories. Okay. So RGV community member obviously means you have to be in the RGV. Okay. All right. And I think that's so you'll fall into 1 of 3 of these categories, and then you'll compete against other members who fall in that category. Okay. So the requirements for the business idea. So this idea which you're going to be developing for us. It can be from any sector or industry. So any type of business, a for-profit business, so money-making entity, or a non-profit type business. Okay, either one of those are fine. And now we're going to limit you on, it can't be one of these in the following categories here, which is kind of listed under a big point. So a buyout, so some type of buyout in which you already has an existing business, and the management takes it and turns around and does a buyout. Expansion of a existing company, right? You just start a new division or something of an existing company. No, that new division is not going to be allowed to compete in this, right? So we're real estate syndications. That's more like real estate partnerships, tax shelters, franchises, McDonald's, right? If you want to do, there's an example of a franchise, some kind of a, name brand entity that's already established, and you're just buying a franchise. Licensing agreements for distribution in different geographical area. So, okay, so that's again, that's kind of similar to a franchise. And you're just, you got an agreement to sell in a different state, or, you know, or in a state anyway, some kind of variation of an already established business, okay? Licensing technologies from universities or research labs, you're allowed to have those, but they could not have already been commercially available previously, or commercialized in any way previously, okay? Spin outs, okay, so from existing corporations again. So it needs to be something that hasn't already been started or existed in any type of business form previously. That's the key takeaway here. Okay. All right, some other requirements. So each of the team members must register and consent to the rules and requirements listed here. Okay. All right, and so the consent, it'll be on the an application and required before the before you go into the semifinals. Okay. All authors must agree that this is going to be their original work. Okay, and the authors will again, this is complied. One of the questions that you'll be asked. Retain and you'll retain all the rights to your work and that you're submitting, right? And it's not something that someone can just arbitrarily be allowed to come and take from you, okay? And take your idea and run with it, right? Third point, by participating in competition, we being UTRGV and the CIC reserve the right to post, you know, your work and make it available to judges for them to evaluate. Okay, but we're not going to arbitrarily, you know, put it out for the whole, you know, the whole community or the whole world to see. Okay, but the judges need to be able to evaluate it. Any copyrights or permissions from a third party, right? If you're taking something from some other company, then that's up to you to try to get the permission to do so. We're not, that's kind of outside our scope here at UTRGV and CIC. Okay. Next. Okay, now I'm going to be joined by Stephanie, my colleague, to talk to you a little bit about the application process.
Okay, guys, so before I jump into this, I want to ask you guys a quick question. How many of you guys are familiar with a business plan? Give me a thumbs up, like an emoji of a thumbs up, if you know what a business plan is. First of all, before I jump in the whole application process, give me a thumbs up emoji if you know what a business plan is. Okay, I don't see any emojis. Okay, I see one emoji. Okay, Manuel, you know what a business plan is. Okay, Manuel, can you tell us in your own words what a business plan is?
Yes, it's like a structure of the business on how it's gonna make profit, and it takes into consideration all the aspects that it may affect into it, and it just basically like it's a plan to prevent just to make to have a path for it to be like profitable.
Yes, that's right, exactly. So think of a business plan, guys, as a plan of how to get to a destination. Okay, so if I was to tell you, okay, Alexa or Jose, Juan, Adriana, Shelby, Charlie, Aaliyah, Esther, Derek, I want you guys to get to California. Okay, and you're gonna look at me like, okay, how do you want me to get to California? You obviously need a plan, right? You need a GPS, or you need a map, or you need some sort of direction, correct? So think of a business plan as your GPS of how to get to your destination. So of course, on our case, the destination would be California. But in your case, as a founder, as a startup, your destination is to get to profit, right? To make the big bucks, to make money, because why else would you want to start a business if you're not going to be successful? You obviously don't want to fail. So a business plan is a roadmap of how to get to your destination, which is obviously success. So I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page as far as, because the competition is a business plan competition, just to make sure everyone is on the same page. So what is expected of you is to create a plan for a business you want to launch. Or if you already have a business, then give us the plan for the business that you launched, or you're in the process of launching, something that you wanna found. So how many of you guys have seen an example of a business plan? So give me a thumbs up, an emoji, if you have seen an example of a business plan. Okay, Jose has seen one. All right. Anybody else that has seen an example of a business plan? Okay, now give me a heart emoji if you have never seen a business plan. You've never heard of what a business plan is. Give me a heart emoji. Okay, Juan has never heard or seen a business plan. Anybody else? What about you, Charlie? What about Alexa or Adriana or Shelby? Okay. All right, so I see hearts. All right, that's okay. That's fine. What I'll do is I will send you guys on the chat and on email an example of a business plan. I'll send you, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send you guys a template of a business plan. And I'm also going to send you an example, a sample of a business plan. So you know what we're talking about, because I don't want you to for the Zoom call to be over and you be like, okay, I'm entering this application, but I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do. So that's what I'll do. So I wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page before I talk about our application process. Okay. All right. Now that we know, some of us know and some of us don't know what a business plan is, but we'll take care of that by the end of the day today. Okay. Do you still see my screen where it says application process? Yes. Okay. Okay, so the first thing that we ask you to do is, first of all, is that you're excited to start this application process. That's thing number one thing before the number one that's here on the create profile. You need to be excited. This has to be something that you're really, really passionate about for you to want to do, because it's not just like, okay, let me fill out an application and submit. It's going to take some work from you. So the first thing we ask you is, of course, you need to have an idea of either a business that you would like to launch, or you need to already be in the process of creating a venture, a business that you're going to start, or you already have a business going on. So that's before you jump into number one, that's what you need to have. Okay. Once you already have that idea, or you're already in the process of creating, founding a venture, fantastic. Then you can jump into number one, which is create a profile on Startup Tree. And I'll send you guys all the links of what we mean by create a profile. We use a software called Startup Tree, which is where our application and all our programs live. Okay, so that's where that's the first thing. You need to create a profile, because if you don't create a profile, the system won't let you submit. It won't even let you enter the competition. So first and foremost, you'll create a profile. It will just ask you basic information, your name, last name. If you're a student, student ID, skills that you have, things like that, just for our internal purposes to connect with you later on. And then number two is you need to, first and foremost, have a pitch page. And I'll show you exactly what a pitch page is in a second so that you can have an idea. And I'll also email you the links as well. But a pitch page is kind of like a summary of your business plan. And for those of you guys who don't know what a business plan is, like I said, a business plan is a roadmap to get to success. And in order for you to start developing that roadmap, you need to know different things of, how you plan to get there. So it's going to ask you things like, okay, what is your venture about? What problem are you solving? Who are your partners? How are you going to get the word out there to your customers? How much are you going to charge? What are your costs? All of those different things. Imagine if you're doing an interview and you're gonna ask everyone what, where, why, when, everything. You know, it's all those questions are gonna be asked in that plan. The next thing that you need to make sure you have is a 60-second video of an elevator pitch. So give me a thumbs up if you know what an elevator pitch is. Give me a thumbs up emoji. Okay, I don't see any emojis. Okay, Jose has seen an elevator pitch. Okay, Jose, what in your own words, what is an elevator pitch?
Well, I'm not exactly sure if I know what it is, but from my understanding, it's pretty much you're trying to sell in the time it would take to ride the elevator, kind of. So you kind of, yeah. So that's why it's called an elevator pitch. That's the time you have to address it.
Yes, exactly. So elevator pitches have been used, you know, in many ways, you know, selling or, you know, introducing yourself, selling your own self, you as a brand. Let's say you were gonna ride an elevator, and usually elevators, you know, in bigger cities are, you know, more than 2 stories. So it takes at least 30 seconds to ride, or 60 seconds to ride to get to another floor. And so let's say you ride an elevator, and in the elevator you see Mark Zuckerberg. You're like, oh my gosh, Facebook creator. I'm a web developer. I'm a app developer. I need to connect with Mark, but I only have 60 seconds to make a first impression, a really good first impression, and tell him what I'm all about and how I can bring value to him, or how he can hire me, or whatever the case is. You need to have an ask. Okay, you need to have an ask, like who you are and what you're looking for, and how you guys are going to be able to connect and add value to each other. So that's the whole purpose of an elevator pitch. Is sometimes you meet with people and you connect with them and they tell you about who they are or whatever, and at the end of the conversation you have no idea what they wanted or what they were all about, and you just kind of give them the polite nod, like, oh yeah, I know what, sure. And you're confused, and they think that they did a great job, and they really didn't. So that's not what we want for you guys. We want you to have a good elevator pitch where in 60 seconds you explain exactly who you are, what your venture is about, what problem it solves, why it's so unique, and why people will buy from you versus others. And just give us, an overview, a quick recap of your venture. So that's what we mean by an elevator pitch. And then the last thing is, of course, submit your application. So a complete application consists of, you're going to create your profile. You're going to answer several questions, like, basic questions like, your name, last name, if you're a student, what do you study, if you're staff or faculty, what department do you work for, if you're community, what city you live in, what's your venture about, other things like, who's part of your team, things like that. But the actual, meat and potatoes of the application is the pitch page and the video. That is what the judges are going to grade. That's what they're going to evaluate you on. So that is, in a nutshell, the application process. And like I said, I'm going to go more in detail of what the pitch page is, because that's the main thing of the application. And I'll show you right now, what it looks like. So of course, you're going to save it as, this is the format that we want you guys to save it as. The live page template and the underscore, and then your team name, so that it's easy for us to look for it and make sure we have everything, we have everyone's. And like Derek mentioned, there are 3 categories in the competition. We have the student, staff/faculty, community/alumni. So out of all those categories, we will have up to 7 semi-finalists. So the way that the competition will work is, right now it's open. So everyone is free to, welcome to apply. And we'll go ahead and close the application by May 25th. So by May 25th, people will no longer be able to apply. After people submit their application, we will have 2 weeks for our reviewers to evaluate applications. And I'll show you in a second what they will evaluate you on, what they will score you on, and everything. After those 2 weeks, we will notify who became a finalist. And if you became a finalist, you'll get a congratulations email. If you did not become a finalist, you'll get a, thank you for applying. We encourage you to apply next time. Okay, so that's what will happen. The live plan pitch page needs to be no longer than 3 pages. And you'll see in a second, it's a PDF editable document. So, please don't go over the 3-page limit. This is what we mean by a live plan pitch page. And right now, when I stop sharing my screen, I'll send you guys all the links so that you have them. And after the call, we'll also send you guys these documents as well. So this is what we mean by the pitch page. The identity is gonna ask you in a quick summary, what is your venture about? Who are you? Are you a tech company? Are you a food company? What green technology, nonprofit? Who is this venture? What problem are you solving? Because you have to make sure that you're not going to just do this because, oh, I love doing this. I love doing XYZ, so I'm going to start a business. No, you need to make sure that you identify, you may really like that, but you need to make sure you identify a problem within that space that you are able to solve and people will come to you. Or maybe it's not problem, maybe it's extra value, but something that you can give your customers. What is your solution? So your solution would eventually be your product. So whatever you're trying to solve, that probably what you're going to be selling. Who's your target market? That means who are the people who will actually buy from you? Who's going to be willing to spend their hard-earned money in buying your product or service? People spend the majority of their time at their job, and what are they going to be? Why are they enticed to spending their really hard-earned money on your product or service versus the competition? And then here in the competition, you need to let us know, okay, well, let's say I'm building phone cases. All right, well, why is my phone case better than OtterBox or Mophie or other brands? Why would people go to me? So here you're going to list your competitors. Sales channel, how are you going to get your product to your customers? Okay, is it going to be a subscription model? Is it going to be delivery? Is it going to be online? Is it going to be in person? How is a product going to get to your customer? Your marketing activities will be, how are you going to get, keep, and grow your customers? How are you going to let people know that you exist? How are you going to retain them once once they're already a customer of yours? Your revenue, how much money are you going to make in profit? You're here for a reason, which is success. So how are you going to measure that success? And how much is it going to cost you to actually create all of this? All of your expenses, whether it is in people, who are you going to hire, your materials, the place where you're going to be at, if you're going to have to give some commissions to people, all of those things are going to be in expenses and cost. Okay, the financials. Your milestones is, what are your success metrics? Okay, whether it is by year 1, I'm going to launch. By year 2, I'm going to make a profit, and so on. What are your goals and how are you going to measure that? Of course, you cannot have a successful organization without people. Okay, so this you're going to tell us under team and key roles. Who are you going to hire? How is your organization going to be successful with who? Who's part of your team? Okay, and why do they add value to your organization? Whether you have really great advisors, mentors, people that you hire, those people you're going to list them here. And then finally, you're going to tell us about partners and resources. Of course, like partners would be like, for example, let's say you're creating a phone case, and there's this material that you're very, very, you know, that's kind of what differentiates your product, and only this particular supplier sells it. That would be a partner. Okay. Or, you know, your resources, what are the things that you need in order for you to make your product or for you to be successful? So it's very, very important. And there's examples in the back of this pitch page that will guide you. There's some questions that you know, are there on the boxes, so that once you answer those questions, you'll be able to answer this. And here where you see the blue box, that's editable. So you're able to type. We don't accept written pages. It has to be typed, okay? And okay, so everything that I shared with you right now that I went over, all these little boxes right here are what judges are going to be evaluating you on. Okay, so all of this is part of the rubric. So if I'm a reviewer, okay, I'm gonna see, let's say Alexa submits her application, then I will review Alexa and I will look at her live plan and be all right. Did Alexa, you know, did she answer identity? And how well did she answer all of these boxes? And on a scale of 1 through 5, I will give her my rating. Okay, of course not me, but you know, I'm telling you as an example. And this will be the scoring. So for every box that you fill out, the judges or the reviewers will be, okay, well, Alexa did an excellent job in answering all these boxes. So I'm gonna give her an excellent. Okay, that's the most amount of points that you can receive. The least amount of points is 1. So it goes from 1 to 5. 1 being poor, 2 fair, 3 average, 4 good, and 5 excellent. So you want to aim for excellent. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're consistent, that you are concise, but you explain. Okay, so pretend like this live plan pitch page is your elevator pitch, but in writing. Okay, think of it that way. So that's what they're going to grade you on all those boxes, plus the delivery of your elevator pitch video. And then, so the reviewers are going to look at your pitch page. They're going to watch your video, and then they're going to give you a 1 through 5 score on the overall submission of your venture, whether they think that they would be a successful competitor on a scale of 1 through 5. Okay. And of course, the decisions are final from the judges and the reviewers. All right, so any questions so far on what I went over, which is the application process, the pitch page, and the rubric, what you're gonna be evaluated on? Any questions so far?
I just have one question. We don't have to necessarily be in a team, right? It could just be an individual doing the whole thing. Yes,
it could be an individual. You don't have to be a team. You could be submitting your application by yourself or with up to 3 team members.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And we'll also have a Q&A question. So if you don't have any questions right now, we came up with some questions that we feel that maybe you may have, maybe not right now, but when you're already doing the application. So we'll get there. Okay, Derek, go ahead.
Yes, just some specific information on the elevator pitch video that you're going to have to do, right? So it's going to be a 60-second video or recording of one person in the group, you know, giving the case for, you know, why your business is important, right? Stephanie did lay out a good example. You know, they talk about it's an elevator pitch. You're in the elevator with the CEO of a company. You got a couple of seconds from the elevator to go from the 10th floor to the 1st floor. And you want to give that person a case for why they should take interest in what you have to say, right? From a business perspective, okay? So one person in the group is going to make this video. 60 seconds is not a long time. You know, you can use your computer camera or your smartphone camera. So to capture this this video. Okay. Obviously, we do give some additional guidelines. Resolution. We want to make sure it's at least it's clear so we can see who you are and see what you have to say. Okay. So you want to make sure you have a clear video, and we do put some resolution guidelines there. This is not like an in-class presentation where you show your PowerPoint slides and then you talk about them. Okay. So this needs to be you or one group member, you know, standing up in front of the camera and giving the compelling argument for why someone should take interest in your company, in your business, and why you think it's going to be successful, right? There are several examples if you on the internet, and what I can do is put some example links together for example elevator pitches, and when we send out an email, I can include those just to let you see what some other folks who've given elevator pitches, kind of what it looks like. Okay. On your application, you're going to be asked to submit a link for your video. Okay. So in essence, you have the freedom to decide what kind of software you want to use to capture your video. All right. As long as, and then, but you know, you're going to have to post it somewhere in the clouds, right? Or somewhere where you can, where anyone can have a link to access it and watch that video, right? Again, on the application, you're just going to be submitting the link to your video, to where your video is located. Good options for doing that are going to be Vimeo, YouTube, or you can capture, you know, save it on a OneDrive or a Dropbox account. Many of you are perhaps are already much more sophisticated in these apps and in storage beans than I am. But again, the key takeaway is just wherever you're just going to have to submit the link, and the judges are going to need to be able to assess it, right, from your application. Okay. Other key, and there's other key specific points, you know, not have your background cluttered and things. And I won't read through each one of these items here, but you can just kind of look through the list. Again, the key thing is just that you're going to submit a link that on which we want the judges to be able to click on and see your video. So you want to make sure you don't have any password protection on it, or sharing limitations on it, such that the judges won't be able to click on it and see that. And that's going to be your responsibility to make sure that they're going to be able to do that. Okay. Does anyone have any quick questions on these on the elevator pitch guidelines at this time? Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Stephanie to the next slide. Discuss the next slide.
Okay, great. All right. So, all right, you guys are a little too quiet here, but we came up with some questions that we thought maybe you may have or may go through your mind after the Zoom call. So we want to make sure that we answer those today. Just so we're all on the same page, how many people can be on a team? Up to 4. Do you have to have a team in order to compete, to apply to the competition? No, you can be you yourself and you could, submit your application. We welcome solo teams as well. So what happens after your application is submitted? So once you submit your application by the deadline, which is May 25th, we will have the reviewers evaluate your application. That will be a 2-week period. So after May 25th, 2 weeks later, we will go ahead and notify people whether they became a finalist or not. So, what are you guys going to be graded on? What are reviewers going to evaluate you on? Like we mentioned, everything that is on the pitch page. Every little blue box that you saw on that pitch page you will be evaluated on. And this is the whole list. So if you want to, get down to the numbers, it's a total of 14 categories. which are all the things on the pitch page, plus your elevator pitch and an overall assessment of, of your venture that the reviewer, thinks of your venture. By when will you become, by when will you be notified if you became a finalist or not? 2 weeks after submission, which is Tuesday, June the 8th. I can't tell you an exact, time, as long as it's Tuesday, June 8th. It could be after 5, it could be by noon. It just depends, sometimes the reviewers take a little long in submitting, but no later than Tuesday, June 8th. Okay, so how many finalists will be selected? Up to 7 finalists from every category, meaning if you competed in the student category, up to 7. If you competed in the faculty/staff category, up to 7. If you competed in the community/alumni, up to 7, which is a total of 21 finalists, okay? So I wanna make sure everybody understands. So there's a total of up to 21 finalists. So the virtual finale, those 21 finalists will advance to the virtual finale in July. I don't recall the exact date. It's, I believe, the second week of July, Thursday, July something. I will give you the exact date in a second. So those 21 will earn their spot to pitch live their venture to business professionals, entrepreneurs, investors who are going to be part of the panel. Okay, so by you getting that email by June 8th, letting you know that you are a semifinalist means that you have earned your spot in the virtual finale. Okay, just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay, so what happens after you become a finalist? Well, first of all, congratulations, you made it. Like, that's incredible. After that, you will be required to attend a mandatory information session, which will be virtual through Zoom on Thursday, June 10th at 1 p.m. Okay, it will take about an hour to cover everything that we're gonna prepare you, give you everything you need in order to be successful for the live virtual finale. On that day, June 10th, we will cover exactly, expectations, what is expected of you, what you're gonna be presenting on, how long you'll have to pitch, and everything else. Okay, so what are the finalists required to present during the virtual finale? Okay, so for those 21 semi-finalists that advance to the finals, they're going to be required to present everything from the pitch page. Okay, so everything that you wrote in that editable PDF form, you are going to present it in a PowerPoint slide deck. That's what you're going to do. Okay, you're going to present everything from who you are to target market, how you're going to make money, milestones, and so on. Okay, and you will have 10 minutes to deliver your pitch presentation, followed by 10 minutes of Q&A. The questions will come mainly from the panel of judges, but it's open to the community and everyone who wants to join. So there's people in the audience who may also ask questions, and so make sure to be prepared to answer those questions since it's live. Okay. All right. So what will I be required to include on the slide deck? Like I said, everything from the pitch page. All those 12 little boxes that you saw on that pitch page are going to be your slide deck. So if you want to think about it like this, you would have to have at least 12 slides. Okay, covering everything from your pitch page, which is a summary of your business plan. Okay, when and where will the final virtual finale take place? It will take place virtually through Zoom on Thursday, July 15th this year. The time is to be determined. Let me give you an explanation of what we mean by TBD. So we will have two times, okay? So we will have in the morning, we will have everyone pitch, those 21 semifinalists. they'll go ahead and go on breakout rooms, okay? And we'll have a student breakout room, a faculty/staff breakout room, and a community/alumni breakout room. So you will have 10 minutes of pitching, 10 minutes of Q&A, and the judges will go ahead and select the top 2 finalists, okay? So from the 21 people who advanced to the semifinalists, there will be a total of 6 finalists. Those 6 finalists will go ahead and pitch in the afternoon to everyone, okay? And those 6 finalists are the ones who are going to be competing for the chance to win $10,000, $7,000, and $3,000, all right? The audience favorite will come from the breakout room morning, okay? So that's how we're gonna do it, and the times are TBD. We'll go ahead and let you know that as soon as we get it confirmed. All right, so of course everybody's here for the great experience, but as well the money, right? The big bucks. So first place is 10,000. Second place, 7,000, third place, 3,000. And like I said, there are those audience favorite categories for each division, okay? For students, staff, faculty, and RGV alumni, RGV/alumni, okay? So in all those breakout rooms, we'll go ahead and have a winner from everyone. All right, those are all the questions that we thought that you may have. At this point, I want to open it up for discussion. Any questions that you may have, please feel free to ask. Let us know. Questions, concerns, comments, feedback. You know, what do you think? Are you excited? Are you planning to do this thing? You know, we want to hear from you.
I found the slides that you presented were very informative. Are we going to get copies of those just so that we could reference?
Yes, yes. After the call, I'll go ahead and email everyone with the slides. And actually, let me send you on the chat the links that I was telling you guys. So let me, if I can find the chat, let me do that right now. Any other questions?
Charlie, one other thing, many of the things that we've posted on the slide, if once you go into startup training, you see where the application is, you can scroll down on that front page of the application. It should list a lot of the same information, but just wanted to let you know that's a secondary source for.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Do you guys see the links that I posted on the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to stop sharing? You're sharing your email.
I'm still sharing?
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I forgot how to stop sharing. Give me a second. Esther, help me out. I don't know how to stop sharing. Okay, there you go. I stopped sharing. Okay. I'm sorry about that. All right, do you see them? Yes?
Manuel had a question. I'm going to team up with my dad, a community member, and I'm a student at UTRGV. What category will I compete in?
Okay, Derek.
According to our criteria, you would be in the community category, right? For the student categories, only the team members can only be composed of students, right? Undergraduate or graduate or some type of student status only, right? It can't be so you would be funneled into the RGV community category.
Okay, so think about the student category as in all students. So if your team is all students, then you go ahead and go on to the student category, okay? All right, so everybody, okay, so I had a question about, can you please email the links as well? Yes, I just sent them on the chat, and after the call, I will email you the PowerPoint presentation that we shared with you, the links that I just put on the chat, and the example of the business plan that I was referring to you guys about. Okay. Any other questions regarding timeline, prices, competition, the live pitch page, the video? Any other questions? Okay, comments. And who's going to be participating? Give me a thumbs up if you're going to be submitting your application and you're here to win the $10,000. Okay, Manuel. All right, we have Manuel, Juan. Very good. Who else? Who's thinking about it? That is like, okay, I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking about it. Give me a heart emoji if you're thinking about it. Okay, Shelby. All right, Adriana. All right, very good. So for those of you who are thinking about it but not too sure, why are you not too sure? Tell us what's kind of, is there anything that we can do to make sure that you're sure, that you're, I don't know, do we need to give more explanation? Tell us, is there anything? Please let us know if there's anything we can do to make sure that you're confident to submit your application and compete. Definitely let us know, whether it is here or email us, contact us. We're here to help you. Okay, any other questions, comments? All right, are we good? Okay, so give me a little emoji, the party emoji, if you're excited about the competition. I mean, you guys should be excited. This is really, really cool. You can start your, your venture and your business, and it's, if you have we're here to help you. All right, very good. We're excited. So we're all excited. That's good. All right. So any other questions that you may have, or feedback or comments? Okay, I think I see a question.
You know how you said that we have to come up with numbers, about how we're going to make the yearly amounts. What if we're slightly off in our prediction, and will that be counted against us?
That's what a business plan is. It's not something that, it's, you never know. It's a very well educated guess. Okay, that's what it is. So we just ask that you try your very best. For like I mentioned, the deadline to apply to the competition is by May 25th. After those 2 weeks, we'll go ahead and notify you who is a finalist and who's not. For those 21 finalists who will make it to the final round, we will go ahead and give you guys a scholarship for a Live Plan membership. So Live Plan is actually a software that helps you guys prepare a business plan. We understand that not everyone knows what a business plan is or knows how to do one. And it could be very intimidating because there's business plans that are, a minimum of 20, 25, 30 pages. So we understand that is a huge thing. So we want to help you. So for those finalists, those 21 finalists, we will give you guys a free membership to Live Plan, which will help you create your business plan, specifically help in the financials. We understand that not everybody is good with, financials, and that could be very intimidating. So it's a software that you just, it asks you questions, and it'll fill out the financials for you. So we hope that helps a lot. And we hope that you guys take advantage of it, those finalists that, advance to the virtual finale. And then also for those 21 finalists who advance to the finale, we're also pairing you with a mentor as well, so that, it's nice to sometimes reference someone who has an expertise and who has done this before and who can kind of give you guidance. We understand that doing this alone could be very scary and intimidating, but we hope that by pairing you with a mentor who can be your go-to person and you can ask advice, we hope that helps. So that's another resource that, we're going to offer for you. So we hope that helps. Any other questions, comments, or feedback? All right, if there are no more questions, then we'll go ahead and give you back 4 minutes of your time so we can finish and wrap up. And like I said, we'll go ahead and email all the materials that we covered today. Okay. All righty. Thank you guys for joining. We hope you
submit
you.
Okay,
Thank you.
guys.